Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our speaker's demo reel. For the discussion today, the topic will be on women's health at work. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions in the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to all our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal! And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Dr. Cinder Dayan L. Tabiolo is an assistant professor of Jose Rizal Memorial State University, Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. She earned her Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in General Science at Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan in 2003. Dr. Tabiolo completed her academic requirement in Master of Arts in Science Education at Cebu Normal University in 2009. In 2013, she finished her Master of Arts in General Science at Jose Rizal Memorial State University, Dapitan City, and completed her Doctor of Educational Management at St. Vincent's College, Dipolog City in 2016. As a prolific researcher in the field of science, she attended numerous instruction-related seminars and international conferences. She also published research in Scopus Index and Thomson Reuters Index journals. A national awardee during the specialization training in legal medicine and forensic chemistry, awarded as a fellow of the Royal Institute of Educators in Singapore. Resource speaker of numerous international conferences, a paper presenter during the Third World Conference on Psychology Sciences in Bali, Indonesia, an international peer reviewer after completing the training on peer review using Thomson Reuters and Scopus Elsevier standards, an external reviewer of the International Journal of Advanced Multidisciplinary Studies, and a recipient of numerous certificate of recognition for an outstanding workshop and research presentations. Recently, she had just published two books entitled Compendium of Research Studies focusing on environmental science and educational leadership and research methodology, qualitative and quantitative. Because of her unparalleled contribution in research, she has been nominated as a faculty finalist for Meritorious Award in Research of JRMSU Dipolog in 2020. This year, she was recently awarded in research and book author categories during the Global Educators Award organized by Beyond Books Publication and Loan Qualifier in Region 9. A hardworking science educator, research advisor, and a panel member in various research outputs of undergraduate and graduate students. An AACCUP accreditor and one of the ISO 9001-2015 internal auditors of the campus. Presently, she is the chairperson for research presentation and associate dean for the College of Arts and Sciences of Jose Rizal Memorial State University, Dipolog Campus, Dipolog City. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Cinder Dayan Tabiolo.
Good afternoon, Miss Jill. Am I audible?
Yes po, Dr. Cinder.
Okay. Once again, a pleasant afternoon to us, to all of us Kabibal, especially to our live viewers this afternoon. I would like also to greet a pleasant afternoon to my colleagues in the service, Ma'am January, Sir Mark, Sir Christian, Sir Van, and also Ma'am Shai and Ma'am Eseline. Before I will share our topic this afternoon, Ma'am Jill, can I share screen now?
Go ahead po, ma'am.
Okay na po ba, Miss?
Kita po yung sa notes po.
Ay, sorry. Oh, wait. Stop share. Yan, Miss Jill, okay na po ba?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay na? Visible na? Can I start?
Yes po.
Okay. Oh, wait. Wait. Ayan, Miss Jill. Okay na po ba, ma'am?
Yes po.
Okay. Once again, good afternoon to all of us, Kabibal, especially to Miss Jill for assisting me always. I think this is my 7th time, Miss Jill, if I'm not mistaken, di ba?
Tama po, Doc.
Okay. Now, women's health at work is very timely in this pandemic, and work-life balance for women is a basic need. There are some people who won't rest till they grow to be a multimillionaire and have that perfect home. And a few of us, in the meantime, shall be completely satisfied if we are able to merely uncover the baffling thriller of how to stable work and life. In this afternoon, I am going to give an overview of work-life balance for women's health at work from employers and employees' perspectives. What can you say in these pictures before we will share our different work-related experiences? I would like to call siguro some of our live participants this afternoon. How about, is Miss January around? Ma'am January, andito ka ba? Hello?
Hi, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you open your camera?
Halaka.
Yan. Ma'am Jan, any sharing about the pictures in the screen?
Wow, the picture. It looks like me having doing my work while my kids are learning. So I
So,
can reflect to that picture while my daughter, who is in kinder, having her online class. So the mom is working right beside her while doing also my work as a teacher, all the requirements needed, somewhat like that.
so relate na relate, Ma'am January.
Relate na relate. Even my son also having an exam, nasa tabi si mami. Ma'am, what's the answer? Oh, pero hindi nakikita ni teacher.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful sharing, Ma'am Jan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now, workplaces often place a disproportionate burden on female workers. That includes workloads as well as emotional and relational labor within the workplace. Historically, women have also been responsible for the majority of work at home. Currently, women of all racial backgrounds are in the workforce. However, this has increased responsibilities for women, both working professionally and still largely carrying the burden of work in the home. These dual responsibilities can increase stress, compromise physical and emotional health, and lead to burnout and lower work productivity. The coronavirus pandemic has increased disparities and stress among women as well. Women of color, in particular, are more likely to be exposed to the coronavirus due to many working essential positions, such as in healthcare. In addition, women may be homeschooling children, no, caregiving for parents or loved ones, and or having to find childcare. Moreover, there is a significant financial impact for women who are unable to work due to their increased responsibilities. As you can see in the screen, women more likely than men to worry about negative consequences of coronavirus, except with regard to investments. So women, they or someone in their family will get sick from the coronavirus. Their investments, such as retirement or college savings, will be negatively impacted by coronavirus. And then they will lose income due to a workplace closure or reduced hours because of coronavirus. And they will not be able to afford testing or treatment for coronavirus if they need it. And then lastly, for women, 39% said they will put themselves at risk of exposure to coronavirus because they can't afford to stay home and miss work. Now, I would like to ask, no, from the men's perspective, um, is Mr. Bacordo around? Andito ba si Sir Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir Mark, what can you say about the data on screen? Do you have any sharing about the negative consequences of coronavirus for men and women?
Based on the data, ma'am, well,
Do you
it
agree on the
depends,
data?
a sort of,
Okay.
but it always depends on the person. It's either or the women or in men. But in my side, when my family gets sick, I'm very worried, especially when my family, 5 members of my family, infected with the coronavirus last, I think, May or June. I forgot the
Oh.
exact month.
Mm-mm.
And then I was so worried because I was far away from them. So kumbaga, the data will always depends on the people, will always depends on what preferences or gender. Kasi iba-iba tayong ideas, pananaw on pan. But
Yes,
the data always say na, yes, ganun, we are worried so much, we are infected with the virus, and then with our colleagues and families, and etc.
correct. Thank you for that sharing, Sir Mark. So we will proceed. So even prior to pandemic, there were inequities and discrimination among women in the workplace, and especially women of color. So amid these challenges, women of color are experiencing significant race-related stress due to the continued killings of individuals. As such, it is critical that employers carefully reflect on ways in which women are disproportionately overburdened and how this extra work limits their advancement opportunities as well as their overall well-being. Employers should make efforts to transform the workplace structures and policies to better support women's contribution. Okay. Now, working women are encouraged to recognize that the perfect balance between work and home is an attainable myth. What can you say about that one? Is Mr. Christian around?
Yes, ma'am. Good
Sir
afternoon.
Christian, any
Well,
idea or any sharing on the thought that the perfect balance, no, for the working women between work and home is an attainable myth until now? I'm sure my partner po kayo, di ba, na also
yes, ma'am.
working. So any idea about that myth, an attainable myth, Sir Christian?
Well, in my own perspective, ma'am, I think it's halfway true. I mean, it's because sometimes, I mean, like my kid, he don't usually play with me. He usually plays with his mom. So I mean, the time of her work and then time of his son upon playing is separated. Actually, it's life and work. I mean, on our lifestyle. The point is that there is really a problem between how women works in their workplace and then the time also. There's a conflict. That's the point. Because my point is that women's are their characteristics are soft-hearted, something like that. That means they cannot join two works at the one time. They are not the masters of all or jack of all trades. So they often sometimes disturbed with emotions, with just few emotions. So I could say it's true. It's halfway
Yeah,
true, man, that the women's are really affected with this, especially in today's situation.
correct. Thank you for that
Yes,
sharing.
you're welcome.
Wonderful sharing, Sir
Thank
Christian.
you. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Instead, considering work among the multiple life roles that women manage along with each role may require more effort, more time than others across the course of the year and throughout our life. Now, women must seek help from others, especially in your work or life environments, to share the load, or you may prioritize your roles, no, as you can help decide how best to manage your time across your various roles and responsibilities. Okay. Now, oh, okay. Now we have this question: how working women can manage work-life balance during this pandemic? Um, I would like to ask, especially the working moms out there. Ma'am Eseline, are you here? How about Miss Shai? Are you here, Miss Shai? Oh, I think they are not here. So, how working women can manage work-life balance during this pandemic? Now, when dealing with change, especially the kind you don't want, your approach and attitude matter. The corona pandemic and related social and individual restrictions may have changed specific attitudes, perceptions, and behaviors. So, to assess which changes due to the corona pandemic were observed, we use this extended version covering from the different topics or the different point of views, no? More intense relations, mindful perceptions of nature, times of quietness, spirituality, connectedness, loneliness, meaning in life, hope, and fear. Diba? So, we have the first thing to consider, the first strategy. We have to adapt, no? Adapt your attitude. Or you can say, change your mindset. Is Honorable Van present? Andito ba si Sir Van, John Van?
Yes po.
Sir Van, any additional info, no, or any sharing on changing your mindset, since I know you are already working as of this time?
Yes. Adapt to change most likely. This could happen probably in those kinds of individuals whom cannot basically weigh things immediately.
Mm-mm.
Cannot immediately probably give decision to a particular scenario in life.
Mm-mm.
I have this case here in the office wherein one of my one of my employees here asked if how shall he be able to adopt a particular attitude of a new one,
Mm-mm.
because there is this new one that we have here in the office wherein he is acting that he knows everything, wherein
Mm-mm.
this woman that is complaining to me told me that he has the attitude. So basically what I did then after, which is that I created an open forum for them to know their indifferences.
Mm-mm.
So that's the reason why then we were able to know that this new newbie, or the neophyte that we have here in the office, has this adult ADHD syndrome.
Mm-mm. Mm.
So with that, then all the women that we have here in the office were able to adapt immediately to the attitude that this neophyte men showed to them. So basically, it may not be immediately be adopted if they don't know the reason, or if they don't know anything about such particular scenario. Most
Oo.
likely, yes.
So, bawal maging judgmental, Sir Van.
Opo, opo.
We
Mostly
have to know
yes.
the causes, no, before we are going
Yes.
to make a judgment or
Yes.
an attitude to somebody,
Yes,
diba?
correct, correct po.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
we are going to acknowledge our feelings, no? The feelings, whether it's positive, negative, or neutral, no? They are all valid and need to be expressed. And then maybe we can lower our expectations because perfection does not exist actually. And it is okay if you are not as productive as you think you should be. Be okay with just doing your best with the resources you have. And then maybe we can have also practice self-compassion. For example, you will say, I made a mistake, but I'm human and I'm making mistakes, and that's okay. Diba? We have to acknowledge our feelings to have this mindset. Okay. Another is engage in self-care. We must be keep informed, no? But we have to listen to the advices and recommendations from our national and local authorities. We are going to follow trusted lang, no? Yung trusted, yung kasi may mga fake news as of this time. So, follow trusted news channels such as local and national TV and radio, and keep up to date with the latest news from WHO. Now, the new realities of working from home, away from home, or temporary unemployment, homeschooling of children, and lack of physical contact with other family members, friends, and colleagues take time to get used to it. No, we get time to get used to it. Now, adapting to lifestyle changes such as this and managing the fear of contracting the virus and worry about people close to us who are particularly vulnerable are challenging for all of us. They can be particularly difficult for people with mental health conditions. Fortunately, there are lots of things that we can do to look after our own mental health and to help others who may need some extra support and care. Now, there are tips, no? Tips and advice that I hope you will find useful. Now, you may establish boundaries so that you are not taking on extra burdens. And you may take priority, no? Prioritize, and then prioritize a relaxation of self-care activity as you are able. And then taking care of yourself will help you function best in your roles. And if teletherapy is available, you may also participate if desired. Diba? And then we must have a routine. No? Have a routine. Keep up with daily routines as far as possible or make new ones. Now, I would like to ask Ma'am January. Ma'am Jan, are you still there with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am Jan, can you share to us, may mga daily routines ba tayo? Or do you have new ones as your daily routine?
Lately, I included, ay mas marami na tayong trabaho ngayon eh. So, double ang workload. So, while the children are in school, at home, so, i-care mo muna sila, and then, later, myself na. So, what, another routine that adds, I think, nadoble talaga yung mga routine. Parang, lahat, you accommodate everything so that every task is done accordingly.
Yes. It's true, Ma'am Jan, no? Kasi parang namo-bored na rin tayo if we get to know the daily routines, no? Palagi na lang, wala namang pagbabago. So, it's good to make new ones, you know? As much as possible, may mga bago na namang routine na ating i-adapt. Especially for a healthier life, we will make new ones, new routines for a healthier life. Di ba, Ma'am Jan? Okay. Now, an additional self-care tips. We have this one: minimize news feeds. Try to reduce how much you watch, read or listen to news that makes you feel anxious or distressed. Seek the latest information at specific times of the day, once or twice a day if needed. Okay? Kasi parang lahat na lang ng oras natin nandun sa news feeds natin, no? 'Di ba? And it will take our time. And then we have this one, social contact. Now, social contact is important. So if your movements are restricted, keep in regular contact with people close to you by telephone and online channels. And then alcohol and drug use. Alcohol and drug use must be limited. No, limit the amount of alcohol you drink, or don't drink alcohol at all. No, don't start drinking alcohol if you have not drunk alcohol before. So avoid using alcohol and drugs as a way of dealing with fear, anxiety, boredom, and social isolation. So there is no evidence of any protective effect of drinking alcohol for viral or other infections. In fact, the opposite is true, as the harmful use of alcohol is associated with increased risk of infections and worse treatment outcomes. And be aware that alcohol and drug use may prevent you from taking sufficient precautions to protect yourself again from infection, such as, for example, yung pinaka-basic, such as compliance with hand hygiene. Diba? And then the screen time. Be aware of how much time you spend in front of a screen, every day. Make sure that you take regular breaks from on-screen activities, especially sa ano natin ngayon, sa situation. We have to take regular breaks from on-screen activities. And then we have video games. Ito, grabe ito. Diba? Especially sa mga estudyante, sa yung mga mostly mga males, they are more on video games. Video games can be a way to relax, walang problema yun. It's a way to relax. It can be tempting to spend much more time on them than usual when at home or at work, for periods. But be sure to keep the right balance with offline activities in your daily routine. And of course, this one, the social media. Use your social media accounts to promote positive and hopeful stories. And then correct misinformation wherever you see it. As of this time, parang it's not healthy to view already sa mga social medias natin, kasi parang sad things na lang yung nakikita natin, di ba? More on candle, maraming namamatay, di ba? Because of COVID. So, as much as possible, we will just promote positive and hopeful stories para positive na lang lahat, di ba? And then, help others. If you're able to offer or support to people in your community who may need it, such as helping them with food shopping, do it, di ba? And then, support health workers. Take opportunities online or through your community to thank your country's healthcare workers and all those working to respond to COVID-19. Don't discriminate, diba? Fear is a normal reaction in situations of uncertainty like this, diba? But sometimes fear is expressed in ways which are hurtful to other people. Remember, we should be kind, Don't discriminate against people because of your fears of the spread of COVID-19. Don't discriminate against people who you think may have coronavirus. Don't discriminate against health workers, Health workers deserve our respect and gratitude. And COVID-19, we all know, it has affected people from many countries. And don't attribute it to any specific group. Ganyan na lang, di ba? And then, next would be become more organized. Create a structured but flexible schedule. Establish dedicated spaces for certain activities, example, workspace, and then You may have play space. And then simplify your task list into what is the highest priority, allowing for flexibility. Delegate some tasks to others with clear expectations as much as possible. I would like to ask, Sir Mark, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, did you came up with a much more organized person as of this time because
Um,
of the pandemic?
a sort of.
May mga ano
Yes,
ba
ma'am.
tayo, sir? Parang may mga list ba tayo na
Yes,
to
a
do this
listing to
one?
do. Yes, this
Uh-uh.
one. For example, the things that I do today is to arrange my things. After work, I do the workout, etc., and so on and so forth. So I have
Wow.
these things to do in a day in order for me myself to be organized, and then talagang susundin ko siya para mas kumbaga mas you have a clear mindset in a day na these are to-do lists. Kasi
Yeah,
kung you are not organized when it comes to the things you are going to do in a day, maybe mas stress ka, and then hindi mo na ma-accomplish kung ano ang dapat mong i-accomplish. So it's better
correct.
for you to be organized
Wow.
para
Thank.
mas productive
Yes,
and have a meaningful day.
correct. Guided kasi tayo if
Yeah,
we
yes,
have the
ma'am. We are
yeah
guided.
to-do list,
Yeah,
to-do
yeah.
list.
Just like when we do traveling, di ba? We have this
Yes,
itinerary on what are the places to visit, etc. So in this time of pandemic, kumbaga we are so much bombarded with the things to
correct,
do
correct,
in for like in a whole work from home setup, di ba? We are very stressed kasi nandun ang ating family members, if those women have children or kids at home, so parang mahati ang kanilang oras when it comes
correct.
to do their work scheme. So that's why it's very important for us, not only for women but to everyone, to have a list on the things to do for us to be organized, and hindi ka mawawala kung ano ang dapat mong i-accomplish in a day.
Correct. Thank you, Sir Mark. Now we have this one, stay connected. Of course, no? We have to evaluate who you want to invest your energy in and what formats of connection are most rewarding for you, especially FaceTime, the social media. But we have to check also, no, weekly. Do we have a check-in meeting with our friend or family member who is also experiencing similar challenges at home? And if you have children, you should involve them in your planning. No? So you may create a structured but flexible schedule and allow your children to make choices about that structure so they have buy-in. No? Have children FaceTime family members and play games. No? And then do not bother if you until the time goes off, and then get a small reward, ideally a toy or a stick rather than food. Diba? Sticker rather than food. And you may also give them 2 to 3 task options and let them choose which one they want to do. So this give some autonomy, no, for the children. And how about this one, happy advantage? Anybody from our live participants who wanted to share the picture in the screen? Happy advantage. Can I call Sir Van?
Yes.
Hi, Sir Van. Hi, Sir Van. Thank you for still being with us, ha? Akala ko wala ka na sa sa Zoom. Sir, any comment on a happy advantage thought?
It can happen to both men and women also, especially if there is what we call fulfilling life. There is what we call, a fulfilled task. There is what we call a happy advantage if we were able to fulfill a particular task in
Mhm.
a span of time we're in. Yeah, with the to-do list that we have, we're able um to complete it probably in an earlier time before the day ends. So there's a happy advantage to probably um to ease also to ease us also with what we will be doing. So other than that also it can add also sometimes a reward. So to us, since we were able to fulfill a particular task in a given span of time.
Thank you, Sir Van.
Thank you.
Okay. By raising the level of positivity in the present, your brain functions better. So this phenomenon called the happy advantage means that your brain in the positive performs better than when it is in negative, neutral, or under stress. So it all starts with a positive attitude, which creates an indirect chain of events that results in a positive mental state and more enjoyable work. So if one can raise their level of positivity in the present, then their brain experiences what is called a happiness advantage, which means that your brain performs significantly better when positive than when negative. Now, your intelligence level rises, your creativity rises, and of course, your energy levels rise. A recent research found that only 25% of job successes are predicted by IQ, while 75% of job successes are predicted by optimism level, social support, and one's ability to see stress as a challenge rather than as a threat. So some of the most successful and happy people aren't the richest people at all. They don't make so much money. They are teachers, scientists, army men, etc. No? So they just can't wait to get to work. They do what they love or love what they do. In either case, the end result is the same. Happiness is a choice. Another one, being honest about the congruity. So start by being honest about the congruity or lack thereof between your work life and personal life. Recognize and acknowledge that certain career choices are more compatible with time-demanding commitments than others. Being a new partner at the firm, for example, raising a handful kids under 5 may not be realistic. At least not if you expect healthy and happy, not to register both at home and at work. Surely, many times you've heard people talk about congruence and what it means to be a congruent person. Or maybe you have heard the typical comment, you're incongruous. No? You say one thing and do another. Who could understand you? Well, it seems that being congruent is tied to a certain transparency internally as well as externally. Inner transparency refers to one a person maintains with themselves, and externally applies to how someone projects about themselves really reflects who they are. So you don't show anything but what and who you are without any camouflage or mask. Instead, people who behave in a non-congruent manner are those who generate headaches, both for themselves as well as for the people around them. They stray from who they are, behave differently from how they feel or what they think. So congruence is the correspondence between what you feel and what you express. Therefore, we could define congruence as that balance which exists between your most visceral state, your gut, and the externalization that make of it in your behavior. So both verbally as well as non-verbally, this is to say when one is congruent, what they feel and what they externalizes are in tune with each other. Now, We have also this one, create your list of non-negotiables. I would like to know from our live participants if they have created their list of non-negotiables. Sir Christian, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you have also your list of non-negotiables, Sir Chan?
Yes, of course, ma'am. I do. I do have the things that I do every day that helps me, especially nowadays. I really feel bored sometimes, especially when there's a work from home scheme. Like today, I'm work from home because sometimes being at home, well, you will fail to love yourself. I mean, you will learn how to love yourself more, but there are times also that you really need to go out and yeah. What I do is that I usually keep in touch with my relatives far from the city, so something like that. I don't usually do that. I did that in times of the pandemic because I was really bored, and not just because I'm bored that's why I contacted them. It's because it's also the high time for me to also know them, something like that, because of the busyness before. I guess those are the things that I do to show the best version of myself, something like
Correct.
that, to care
Thank,
to care for my relatives.
thank you so much, Sir Chan. Now,
Yeah.
what are non-negotiables? So non-negotiables are the things you will not negotiate on. No? So they follow your values, your principles, and define not only what you will and won't accept from others, but also what you will, but also the big time deal breakers. So they are the promises you keep to yourself, your family, and your team. They are unique to you and your situation. Only you can determine what they are, and only you can manage them. No example. Okay. How about one example? One strong example of non-negotiable is um the Sunday. No. Some companies are really close. No, close sila pag Sunday. So to them, Sunday is for family, and they want their employees to have this time to enjoy. So being closed on Sunday, every Sunday, is a huge financial loss, but one that they are willing to take for their values. So whether you agree with them or not, you can see that the money doesn't matter, the non-negotiable does. Okay. And we have also this one, approach balance with balance. So as you spend more time addressing how you want your life to look, you will recognize areas formerly clumped together. So give attention to each of them individually, whether it's marital, parental, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, or physical. We have 4 different ways to approach work-life balance. No. So, example, you're going to talk to an employee, in a 9 to 5 p.m. job, and they'll tell you how challenging it is to achieve that perfect balance of life and work. Now, try as we might, compartmentalizing work and leisure are hard, and we often catch ourselves thinking about that assignment long after the office has shut shop for the day. Now, work-life integration or blend is the reality for most people, as they do not fully disconnect from work, even when in the comfort of their homes, and vice versa. Some days work will take precedence and others. So your loved ones and or personal health will command more attention. So if there are areas of your life you feel like you have been neglecting, do not try and compensate by slicing up your time, into neatly allotted hours of the day. So instead, you go with the flow. Diba? Make all the mental notes and schedules you like, but dedicating strictly 8 hours for work and 8 hours for leisure, and expecting yourself to follow through with dead certainty is setting your set up for failure. Take small steps, no? In the digital age, it is inevitable that your professional life will spill into your personal life. So especially if you have children and other family members to take care of. So many of us neither bring home our office devices to continue working or send our work accounts to our phones, no, leaving us connected to our jobs forever. Diba? And then, play at work. When work assignments and projects dominate your life, and you find yourself working even on the weekends because of urgent deadlines to meet, other factors such as health, leisure, and family will automatically take a backseat. Now, if you can't make time for things after hours because you work overtime regularly, squeeze them in during lunch or tea breaks. No? Example, book a doctor's appointment. No, catch up on that Netflix show you've been meaning to watch. Like me, I love Grey's Anatomy. So on weekends, I'll be giving 3 to 4 hours, no, to watch an episode. So it's a matter of time management. No? Step away from the desk and read a chapter of a novel. Diba? Choose these little moments to make time for yourself, especially if your time is struck. And then, have a life outside of work. No, if you want to be more disciplined in keeping your day job and after hours life separate, no, get involved in after hours or weekend projects which demand your physical presence and a minimum level of commitment, such as volunteering or night classes. So that way you'll have no choice but to devote your attention to something other than your 9 to 5 p.m. Work. Diba? Now, did you experience this, that there are times that you are going to explain to your colleagues or your boss that you will not be unavailable for after hours, most workplaces, no? And then I think, I hope, no, that your bosses will respect your decision. And then, of course, we are going to exercise. Kasi sometimes, because we are so busy, no, we don't have time to work out. And remember, exercise can help us keep your mind, no, can help keep your mind clear and working efficiently during the balancing act. Diba? Research has shown that people who exercise report decreased stress and increased confidence in their abilities to handle work conflicts. And then we have this one, clean out the waste, the time waste. Now, when a full work day leaves only a precious few hours, like me, no, I'm a working mother. Now, few hours at the end for those you love, every minute counts. So if you are distracting from your workload by answering personal emails and indulging in social media, you are chiseling away at your family time that awaits. So tidy up your time waste and reward your effort by spending time in a life area that has missed you. Diba? And then, did you know that people in Denmark have the best work-life balance in the world? 96% say that they have friends or family they can count on in tough times. Cliches as it sounds, no? Cliche as it sounds, it really does take a village to make life work. And it's up to you to help build the one you want to live in. Learn to delegate, no? And trade favors with friends, neighbors, and co-workers to create a win-win for everyone. Now, women's health, why it matters in the workplace. Ma'am Eseline, are you now here? Okay, wala si Ma'am S. Ma'am Shai, are you here? Oh, wala rin. Ma'am Jan, are you here? Ma'am January?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ma'am Jan. Okay. Hi, Ma'am Jan.
Yes,
Any comment on women's health? It matters in the workplace.
Of course, it really matters, especially we have only one life to live and we should live it to the fullest. So
Yes.
if you work so much and then you are not compensated, it, it is a loss for you. So you just work happily and then everything will follow.
Yes. Correct. But, di ba, Ma'am John, the pandemic is contributing to another area of gender disparity, di ba? Our health.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it has shown a harsh light on some of the health inequalities that persist. And research carried out by BUPA 2021, workplace well-being census found out that a significantly larger proportion of women than men felt the pandemic, and it has a negative impact on their health and well-being. Two-thirds of women, which is 66% versus 57% of men. It is inevitable that the scale of a global pandemic would affect almost everyone. Its impact on women and their working lives is undeniable. And women felt their mental health negatively affected their work, and that many are struggling with the transition of working from home. Now, a quarter, 26%, have seen blurred lines between work and home life, according to World Health Organization. And it suggests that many women are finding themselves an impossible situation of having to assume multiple care responsibilities, with some returning to traditional household roles as well as their career workload. And according to WHO, every woman situation is different. And it's clear that COVID-19 continues to exacerbate existing inequalities for many. What's more, the long-term impact of the pandemic will have associated social and economic impact for women in many years to come. Now, we have 5 factors that impact women's safety in the workplace. First is physical differences. Women represent over 40% of the global workforce. Now, despite this, occupational health and safety continues to focus on the safety of men in the workplace. Increased concern for gender equality in the workplace has led to gender-neutral approaches to healthy and safety. But this is not itself a perfect solution, since it means directing fewer resources to identifying and preventing risk that only or disproportionately affect women. This unfortunately has some tangible consequences, no? According to the study in 2008, published in the American Journal of Epidemiology, they examined workers in a heavy manufacturing environment, no? Found that injury rates were actually higher among females, who accounted for 7.5% of the total aluminum smelter employees, but 10% of the total injuries sustained. So a workplace is only truly safe when it's safe for everyone who works in it. Here, we're going to put the focus on women's safety by looking at 5 key factors that have a significant impact on the health and safety of women on the job. Now, for example, in finding properly fitting personal protective equipment, or what is known as the PPE. Now, according to this study, the difficulty since most workers, the clothes are still designed for the average man. Now, many women report that ill-fitting PPE gets in the way of them doing their job safely and effectively, whether it's gloves that are too big and are a bit clumsy, hard hats that fall down over the eyes, or harnesses that aren't designed to accommodate hips or breasts. and therefore don't offer a snug fit, no, according to the study. Another thing, underrepresentation in management. Okay. Any comment on the screen, Sir John Van? Any comment on the underrepresentation of women in management? Is this true?
Mm, it has been in the past wherein women are stereotyped and
Mm-mm.
has not it been I mean, it is actually underrepresented by most companies, but it is because of what we call um, there are clients, as I would say, like what we had experienced here, that most women's have their alibis, have their
Mm-mm.
workloads that they cannot maybe able to weigh things immediately like men,
Mm-mm.
that
Yeah.
because probably women will be handling their kids, they will be attending to their kids, but not men. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
that's the reason why most of the clients would prefer to have American clients, I would say, mostly would like to have men in the management. It's that's to basically mean not to have blank space in the management, because again, as I have said, this client specifically tells us that most women would have this alibi that they might be absent for today because they will be attending their child, or probably they are suffering right now from dysmenorrhea, or probably they may have a sickness or some sort of different kinds of alibis just not to attend a particular day or a particular meeting. But
Mm-mm.
while men, they have this kind of they have this kind of attitude wherein that is just probably they have this eagerness to really be on top of it, because again, we know that men is profiled to be the breadwinner.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for that sharing, Sir John.
You're
No?
welcome, ma'am.
So, although some progress has been made on this front, women are still not equally or proportionally represented among managers and supervisors. This means they don't have a seat, no, at the decision-making table, and don't have enough of a say when it comes to creating and implementing the health and safety policies, procedures, and strategies that affect female employees. So here it is, no? And I mentioned kanina ni Sir Jan, occupational stereotypes. Now, stereotypes also have an effect on women's safety. Jobs associated with women or popularly classified as women's work are often mistakenly considered safer or easier than they really are. So in many cases, this means that jobs assigned to women aren't properly assessed for hazards, putting workers at serious risk. Now, the European Agency for Safety and Health reports, for example, that women tend to have greater incidences of skin diseases due to working with wet hands in jobs such as catering or from repeated exposure to cleaning agents or hairdressing chemicals. The solution for preventing these types of issues isn't complex. It simply requires conducting full health and safety evaluations for all jobs, no matter how low risk they may seem. And also this one, pregnancy and reproductive health. So when it comes to physical work, it's obvious that pregnant women can't bend, lift, and cannot carry things the way their non-pregnant co-workers can. So many employers recognize this and alter the workloads to accommodate. But other hazards like pesticides and harmful chemicals are less obvious. So employers may not readily make accommodations for this, but regular exposure to them could have long-term implications for pregnant workers and the babies they are carrying, no? So some various standards applicable to specific hazardous substances, which are known to negatively affect the reproductive system. So women react differently to different substances. However, and it is simply possible to write specific standards to cover every possibility. Now, employers must treat pregnant workers just as they would temporarily disabled workers. This means providing modified tasks, alternative assignments, lighter duties, and disability leave for those who are unable to perform their normal roles. And also this one, long work hours. So most safety professionals now know the impact long shifts have on workers. But one thing that isn't always part of the discussion is the additional unpaid work women often do in the home. Now, women in other countries spend on average 271 minutes, or that is 4.5 hours each day doing unpaid work. So this includes tasks like cooking, cleaning, childcare, laundry, maintenance, gardening, and other household activities. But men, in contrast, spend about 137 minutes on these tasks. So when you consider that full-time working women spend about 6 to 8 hours doing paid labor as well, that adds up to a workday that's anywhere from 10.5 to 12.5 hours. So shouldering this much labor on a regular basis can lead to increased stress, no? Burnout, and poor sleep. And from a safety perspective, that means a significant reduction in reaction time, motor control, decision-making abilities, and situational awareness while on the job. Any comment, Sir Mark, on working long hours?
For me, mom, working long hours, well, we experience that one, especially when we are doing paperwork, especially on accreditation,
Yes.
chat visit, or and yeah, I experienced that one wherein I work in the library at almost 12 midnight
Yes.
because of busy preparing the documents. But it is not really advisable to have a long work hours because your mind will be compromised, and also your physical aspect, because if your mind is very bombarded with very consumed of all the in the long work hours, then your health will be affected. So that's
Yes.
why you need to work as much as possible. If the employer requires you at 8 hours work a day, then you must follow that work schedules, because if if you are not going to follow that one, if you stay longer in your workplace, then maybe you can question yourself, am I really productive in that
Correct.
span of 8 hours?
Correct.
Diba? So that's why you need to manage your time, especially in working in a day, para maging productive ka to consume the 8 hours that is given to you. And but we cannot working long hours is inevitable, especially when there are things that we really need to accomplish in
Yes.
a short period of time, because deadline na ganyan and so on, because we are so we cannot deny the fact na we humans, some people are um cramming, gusto nila yung mag-work, mas nagwo-work ang kanilang mind when the deadline is fast approaching.
Yeah.
'Di ba? We cannot deny the fact that one. But it's not really advisable talaga for us to have a healthy lifestyle when it comes to work. We need to avoid working long hours in a day. Kasi it's not really helpful, especially during this time of pandemic. I know some of you, especially those who are educators, their students will really chat them, especially in the evening. 'Di ba? Kumbaga, we need
Correct.
to set schedule, we need to set our time. So we will cater our students from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. only, because we have our me time, or we have our
Yeah.
family time. So that's why we
So,
need to
hindi aswang
separate.
hindi aswang si
Yeah,
teacher.
we are not 24/7, ma'am. We are not
Correct.
24/7. So
Correct,
we need to
correct.
separate. We need to have a schedules on kailan tayo mag-work, kailan tayo response to the messages of our students or clients, para we have a healthy lifestyle, working hours. Ganun. That's
Thank you
my
so much, Sir
side.
Mark. Thank you for that wonderful sharing. Okay, so any final thoughts before we will end? Because I think it's almost time now. So as more women take on safety management roles and break stereotypes about the type of work women can do, we'll likely see a positive shift, no, in the way our initiatives or strategy, no, to we will strategize to keep women safer in the workplace. Until the time comes, every safety professional should make sure they are aware of the factors that can increase women's risk in the workplace and take steps to address them. So I will leave you with this quote: making work-life balance work comes down to priorities and productivity with time invested. And the goal is not about having the most money, but about a life well lived. Thank you so much for listening and keep safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very much,
ma'am.
dear teachers, and of course, Dr. Cinder. We will now proceed to our question and answer portion. If our teachers here in the Zoom meeting have any questions for our speaker, you may raise them personally. And for our YouTube viewers, in case you also have questions for our speaker, you may type it in our comment section. Alright, so there's no question po sa ating YouTube comment section. And I think our teachers here doesn't have questions as well. So do you have any last reminders to our viewers for today po, Dr. Cinder?
I would like to thank our live participants, my colleagues in JRM Issues, Sir Christian, Sir Mark,
You're welcome.
Sir John Van, Ma'am January.
Thank you,
Thank you so much for your
ma'am.
support. I hope we've done our part, and I am hoping na maraming natutunan ang ating mga kavibal this afternoon. Ma'am Jill, thank you again for this opportunity. I think that would be all siguro.
There we have it. In behalf of Ibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this indeed very eye-opening and interactive learning session. It is an honor to have you with us today, Dr. Cinder. And of course, special thanks to our teacher participants who actively participated this afternoon. Sir Mark Andrew Bacordo, Sir Christian R. Buhisan, Sir John Van Abaa, and Ma'am January Ero. Thank you very much po, teachers, and of course, to all our Kavibal viewers. All thanks to you for your continuous patronage to all our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. We also encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official Vival Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.